Are you ready for the next 100x altcoin gem? It's a DEX solving a very big problem when it comes to IDOs for big projects and for new projects. What is it? It is CrossSwap. Yes, I know we've been speaking about this. I know there's some good stuff, some bad stuff, but we need to look at this objectively on why it looks like it still could do a nice 100x. So we're going to look at the technicals and the fundamentals, including the roadmap, because I've been listening to your comments. If you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you don't know me by now, my name is Jigir. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro, been featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008, where I used to focus on currencies only, but now exclusive on cryptocurrency. So let's dive straight in. Starting off, let's focus on technicals. Now, just a quick reminder, I use Elliott Wave and Fibonacci as one of the best tools that I've found to really predict with high probability of what's likely to occur next. Now, what tends to happen is markets tend to move in a 5-wave sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what we see here. We'll see this with Bitcoin, with Ethereum, with Uniswap, with Cardano, but we'll also see it with the low caps. And with CrossSwap, we've seen it almost textbook. And then after, so this here, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we call this a wave 1. After a move to the upside, a wave 1 in a 5-wave sequence, what typically most common occurs is a ABC wave 2 correction. Yes, profit taking. Think about it logically. We are playing a zero-sum game. And what that means is for you to make money, someone else has to lose money. It's like a game of tennis. For there to be a winner, there has to be a loser. It's a zero-sum game. So profit taking is natural, it's healthy, and the typical profit taking level is 50 to 78.6%. What does that mean? It means the market tends to pull back, and wave 2s tend to be quite steep. What comes after a wave 2? Well, if you can count to 1, 2, you know it's going to be a wave 3. But the wave 3, especially in financial markets and in crypto, it tends to be one of the most impulsive parts of the market, where we expect a certain ratio. We're going to go into a live chart of CrossSwap and what we're going to look at, but we're also going to look at the roadmap and what I'm thinking is likely that's occurring and what we should anticipate. So what comes next typically is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a wave 3. Yes, a wave 3, and that's what I am still anticipating, because there's something very important happening, which I'm going to cover in the latter half of this video. So let's just look at this. What we're going to do is we are going to measure, in our chart, we're going to measure this wave 1, we're going to measure it, and then we're going to project it forward from over here, from wave 2. And a wave 3 typically goes to a 1.618, if we can move this out of the way, to a 2.618. I'm going to do that on a live chart, so we're going to have some real price specific targets. So let's just now jump into, if we can get rid of this, let me get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. All right, there we go, bang. All right, so now let's just jump into our live chart. But before we do, actually, let's just remind ourselves, CrossSwap, taking cross-chain trading experience to a new level we've never seen before, features for traders and projects. I'm big into launchpads. I've got many launchpads. I've participated in many different launchpads. One of my favorites is the Bluezilla ecosystem. Why? Because they give guaranteed allocations. But there's problems with initial DEX offerings when the token is listed. And CrossSwap is looking to solve 5 key problems. But there's a particular thing, and I know you're annoyed about it. I'm a bit annoyed about it. But it is what it is. But we want to look at this objectively from a business-like fashion, because always we can only do probabilities and never certainties. At the bottom of their website, they have a roadmap. Let's have a look. Here we go. Now, what was due to launch in 2021 Q4 was version 1 of the DEX. Now, to date, the Bluezilla ecosystem have 9 launchpads now, and they've done over 100 IDOs since March. I think it's probably even close to 200 now. And most of those have been listing on PancakeSwap. But there's a problem with PancakeSwap. There's certain things that you can't do with PancakeSwap. Hence, CrossSwap is there to design to solve those particular problems. But why did they not stick to the roadmap? Because it was supposed to be for Q4. Now we're the 1st of January or early January, and it hasn't been launched. Well, my guess is the market sentiment is not great right now. You can see in your own portfolio, you're probably 20%, 30%, maybe even 50% down with your entire portfolio, because the price of Bitcoin has taken a big correction. So there's fear, there's uncertainty, there's doubt, there's pessimism. A lot of people are thinking, has the bear market begun? And that is not the greatest time to launch your project. How I think about it is having the wind in your sails. If CrossSwap was a boat and it's in a docking station and we're getting ready to set sail, the wind is against us right now. It's not great market conditions. Now, what I believe CrossSwap team have decided to do, this is just my speculation, is they are waiting for the tide to turn, for the sails to turn, for the wind to turn, so it's blowing in their sails. So when they do, like literally announce their mainnet version 1 of the DEX to go live, the wind's going to be in their sails, and it's going to be a much bigger success for all of us. For all of us, and that's my speculation. That's my conclusion. I know there's pros, there's cons, but it is what it is. But what I want to do next is look at the technicals. So with CrossSwap, just a quick recap. Down here was the IDO. It was back in August. I believe it was August 27th, thereabouts. And it did a nice movement to the upside. It did a correction, and then it went right the way up, all the way up to around $1. It went all the way down from like 1 cent all the way up to $1. So it was around 100x or so. And now it's done this deep correction. But it's at this level that we spoke about. This number here is 78.6%. So this movement measured up. So I'm going to show you like this. This is very common, very common. We measured it to the way up, and it's pulled back. Very steep, steeper than what's comfortable for most. Now we're at this time zone and this price zone. Now, I did a video a little while ago, two things, right? I did a video back in, I think it was October, around down this kind of area down here. And what we said was CrossSwap, powerhouse DEX. We're going to do a comparison in a second against PancakeSwap. And the comparison, we can kind of get a feel for what's likely to occur. But what I want to kind of remind you of, we can only do probabilities and never certainties. So important. So even though we believe 100x, I'm going to show you the numbers in a second. I did a video a little while ago, and I reposted it not that long ago, called How to Become Risk-Free, the Art of Profit Taking. Don't give your money back to the market. Now, even though I believe CrossSwap is still set to do a nice 100x, when the market moves, the next move, when version 1 of the DEX moves, or is launched and it moves up, you should be taking profits at a 3x to a 5x, especially if you're buying on the open market. So those of you that watch my initial videos down here, the market moved around a 15x, 7 to 15x. You should have been at 3 to 5x, taking profits, becoming risk-free, so then it becomes comfortable to hold during this downside movement. So the big question that I have for you, and you have for me, is do you get what's likely to occur next purely from a technical buying and selling? Because when they do announce the hard date for version 1 of the DEX and those APY rewards are released, the staking rewards, which are probably going to be similar to what WagUSwap was, which were very juicy. They were like 100% APY for the first week. We are probably going to see what we call a 2.618 wave 3 extension. What does that mean? Well, we're going to measure, I'm going to show you the numbers. This is Elliott Wave and Fibonacci. And by the way, if you want to learn how to do Elliott Wave and Fibonacci, you can take my free masterclass. It's in the link below. I break this down into layman's terms because you'll see these patterns unfold around 50 to 70% of the time with most markets, with most of your cryptocurrency. So we're going to measure this low to this high. And we're going to take this closing high over here, and then we're going to project it forward from this wave 2 low down here. And we're going to come up with two lines, right? And these are price targets. These are very special numbers. These are called the golden mean, 1.618 and 2.618. I'm just going to squeeze it like this so we can see the numbers, right? If you double click on these numbers, you can see we've chosen 1.618 and 2.618. Why are these numbers so valuable and so precious? Well, these are the typical ratios when we see a wave 3. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed. It just means it's highly probable when we see these kind of patterns unfold. So now we are anticipating that the wave of prices is low. Right now it's 16 cents, 16 cents. And we're anticipating it's probably going to be an overextension, especially if it goes to plan, and especially if Bitcoin, because I think the CrossSwap team are going to wait for Bitcoin to start making all-time new highs. So I reckon it's going to be in Q1 of 2022, maybe in the first month, maybe in February. We're not sure right now. They haven't announced it. But when they do, it's probably going to be when the optimism, that wind is in the sails. So it's going to be a much more guaranteed or highly probable there's going to be a bigger success. So what's the price targets? 1.618 is $1.34 and 2.618 is $2.10, give or take. Right? So that's what we're anticipating. So what does that mean? Let's just do some math over here. Let's just be a bit optimistic here. Let's just say it's $2.10. So 2.1 divided by today's price. Let's just call it 0.15. That's going to be an initial 14x, right? An initial 14x. Is that what we're expecting overall? No, I'm going to show you why in a second. But 14x, even though, let's just say we were super confident that it was going to do this number 14x, I still highly recommend you plan for the worst and hope for the best. And at this part, when it's a 3x, 5x, definitely 10x, as a maximum, you should be taking your initial money off the table, putting it back in your pocket. It's called becoming risk-free. So important. Again, I did a video on it not that long ago. Again, I posted it again, I think December 28th, how to become risk-free. I highly recommend watching that video because most people are terrible at taking profits. I don't know how you are, but I know most people are terrible at taking profits. So let's just finish up with PancakeSwap. Right, first let's just jump into CoinGecko, CrossSwap. Right now, according to CoinGecko, I'm just going with the CoinGecko information, it is a $3.1 million market cap. Tiny. That is a micro cap. That is tiny. So tiny. Now, it's not going to be there for long, especially if they successfully launch version 1 of the DEX, and that's what we're anticipating. But now let's look at PancakeSwap. This is not what I want. I want PancakeSwap. Give me PancakeSwap. Let's go for PancakeSwap. This is what I want. All right, this is going to load up. There we go. Perfect. So PancakeSwap is currently $3 billion market cap, right? So if CrossSwap was to get to the size of PancakeSwap, what would be the multiple? Now, we're not saying that's going to happen or even likely to happen, but let's just look at the math because there's two things that I want to make sure we get really, really clear. So $3 billion, that's 9 zeros, divided by 3 million, which is 6 zeros, of CrossSwap would be a 1000x for CrossSwap, the DEX aggregator, solving a big problem when it comes to IDOs for projects and for investors. For it to get to the size of PancakeSwap will be a 1000x. Is it likely going to do a 1000x and get to a $3 billion valuation? I don't think so, to be honest. I don't think so. It's possible. It's possible, but I wouldn't say it's highly probable. But what I would say is highly probable is it reaching at least 10% of this. At least 10% of PancakeSwap. So we multiply that by 0.1, that's 10%. That would be a 100x. That, I would say, is highly probable. But even if we thought, there's a 9 out of 10 chance that it's going to do 100x from today's price, like reaching $1.50, $15, if it's that highly probable, I would still become risk-free at a 3x, 5x maximum of a 10x. So there you have it. CrossSwap, what do you think? I know the Bluezilla team, their roadmap said Q4. I know some of you are annoyed. I've been reading your comments. I'm a bit annoyed too. However, when it comes to business is all about making decisions and solving problems. And when the market conditions are like this, I know the Bluezilla ecosystem are very aware of market sentiment, and they have a great history of delaying project launches based on market conditions. I remember ETHPAD was due to launch on a certain date, but it was very, very bearish. So they delayed it. I think it was 2 to 3 weeks. And then they released ETHPAD in a much more better, optimistic market condition, and it did much better. And I believe that's what they're doing for CrossSwap in a pretty similar fashion. So there you have it. So let's finish with a quote. It's going to be from the top of my head. It's from one of my favorite business books called Black Box Thinking. Beneath every success is a mountain of necessary failure. Beneath every success is a mountain of necessary failure. I know many of you, because I read it in your comments, in my private groups also, that you wish at a 3x, you were 3x up, you're 5x up, some of you are 10x up with CrossSwap, but you didn't take profits. You didn't take your initial money off the table because you got overly bullish, overly optimistic. That's not good business practice. You want to have a written plan that just says at 5x, or 7x, or 3x, or 10x, whatever your number is. There's pros and cons of having a higher multiple and a lower multiple, but you have to have that number. And when it hits that number, you just pull your money off the table, boom. So you take the learnings from yourself or your past behavior or from other people. So if CrossSwap does boom to $2 and you're going to be up again 10, 20, 15x or whatever it is, you should be coming risk-free. Because if it does hit 100x, well, 100x is $15 from today's price. Is that right? Yeah, $15 from today's price. And that is very, very possible over the course of the next 3 to 6 months. So if you like today's video, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, take my free Elliott Wave and Fibonacci masterclass. It's in the link below. It breaks down this psychology of buying and selling in layman's terms. So I did the hard work for you so you can start seeing these patterns which are identifiable in advance so you can make high probability decisions. We can only do probabilities but never certainties. All right, I'll see you soon.